Hi, I'm Ben Buddy Slack, and I'm the founder of the Swan Song Project. The Swan Song Project is a charity that helps people facing the end of their lives to write and record their own original songs. I've started doing a series of interviews with songwriters where I ask them to share with us one of their songs, a few tips about how they wrote it, some tips that may be useful to other songwriters, and it's a bit about how music's helped them in the past deal with a bereavement or loss. This episode features Scott Wainwright, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, today I'm here with Scott Wainwright. Scott's going to play us a song, and we're going to carry on through the rest of the interview. So, Scott, do you want to introduce your song for us? I'm going to put you on the full screen here. There we go.
Yes. Hello, Ben. This is called John, and it's a song about my dad. It's funny how things work out sometimes. It's funny how things come to pass. Sometimes you think you got away with it all, and other times it bites you in the ass. I never meant to hurt anyone or to lead them astray. But sometimes you must face your fears, and sometimes you cannot stay. Sometimes you will wonder why, and other times you'll play it cool. Sometimes you won't even try, and then it's better just to play the fool. I never meant to be unkind, pretend that I didn't care. Sometimes it's just the luck of a draw, and other times it just isn't fair. There's a little child inside every grown man, and most of the time he's doing the best that he can. But this little child hopes one day to be grown, and one day hopes to make it on home. Until then we wonder where the time has gone, but I guess you already know that, John. Until then we wonder where the time has gone, but I guess you already know that, John. Oh, how I've tried to figure you out, looking for the right words to use, but I'm still filled with doubt, and I'm even more confused. I never meant to disappoint you, or cause you to lose your way. You just did the best that you could, and you never had the words to say. Yes, you just did the best that you could, and you never had the words to say. Thank you.
Yeah, that was beautiful, Scott. I've not heard that one before. Is that a newer one, or?
Yeah, it's fairly new. Yeah, well, I haven't played it very much. That's been more the thing. I wrote it after my dad died a couple of years back, and it's been sort of I've not really played it very much in public, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's a beautiful song. Very powerful. So, what can you tell us about writing that? So you wrote it after your dad passed.
Yeah, my dad passed away suddenly. is it 2? This will be 3 years this December, so two and a bit years. Yeah, he passed away suddenly, and yeah, in that period of of grief, when you're very much you're up and down, yeah, I decided I don't really write personal songs as a rule, but then it's when you might look at your songs, they are personal. It's a very strange thing. You think they're not personal, but I decided I come up with the title John, which was his name, and I thought I'm gonna write something. It's obvious that it's about a person, and be very. And by writing that title down, giving it a name, it sort of directed me, to write what I really wanted to write. I really want to express what I wanted to express about my dad and about my relationship with my dad, and also it's more about sort of how much do we really know as parents, that sort of thing. We grow up and become, if we become parents, we suddenly realise what our parents went through themselves raising us, and we start to give us parents a break as we get older. Naturally, we sort of start thinking, oh yeah, I get the pressures of this and that. And my dad was a very, very quiet, introspective sort of character, and I think it was really in the last months of his life. He had a stroke for the last maybe 3 years into dealing with the aftermath of a stroke, and in that time it was very difficult. He was more introverted than he were before, which is a lot. He was quite very quiet person. And this song was more about trying to figure out mine and his relationship without being able to ever talk about it. And when you talk to your brothers or your sisters, my brothers in my case, they had a very different experience, of my dad than I did. You talk to my mum, she had a very different experience of her husband than I did. So this song's really about my experience. I'm trying to work out the things that perhaps I was disappointed with, upset with, happy with, the things that I've figured out and I've settled with, in order to help me as much as anything else. And the reason I haven't played it a lot is because I did worry a little bit about what people obviously my brothers, my mum, and other relatives, what they would think of it, because it's obvious you can't hide behind it, because I've called it John.
Yeah.
I've sort of stared into the abyss by calling it John, and saying this, but also I can't hide behind it. So it's been quite I've only played it a few times out, and I put the YouTube video up of it the other day, more to sort of see what people's response would be, from outside of my family circle as well. I don't normally think too much what people think of songs, but at the end of the day, we do want to know people like them. We want them to resonate with people, don't we? We want them to speak to people. That's why we write them, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's fascinating. Yeah, so was writing it quite a therapeutic process for you in terms of coming to terms with those things? And what's it been like? So what does it feel like now with the song? Like, has it changed over time? Or do you feel more comfortable playing it? Does it still feel a bit?
No, it still feels really uncomfortable playing it. It feels, it almost feels like gossiping. It almost feels like telling people something that perhaps that you shouldn't be telling them, but also it is very, it's therapeutic. It is therapeutic to get these things out. And I suppose unless you actually read the lyrics and or listen closer to the lyrics, they're not as obvious perhaps as I would think that they are. To me, they're obvious because my lyrics, but to other people, I mean, obviously we all know as favourite songwriters, we try and interpret what they're saying, but we've no idea really. Well, they might have just used that line because it just sounded good, that line. It might actually mean nothing. They've used words that rhyme and rhythmically work. So I think it's one of those things where you put more stock into things than perhaps other people will. But yeah, I did. Every time I played him, I always feel like, am I doing a disservice here to my dear old dad? To our relationship. Am I saying things that? But then perhaps we need to say them. Perhaps that's in order to come to terms with the loss of somebody. For me, in this respect, or to come to terms with whatever, we have to say it. I think it's important that people don't speak enough about these things, and they're not honest enough with themselves first and foremost. And I think that's a problem with mental health. And the thing I've learned over time with mental health, which my dad suffered with, and I saw that the fact that I felt that he didn't always deal with that. He didn't always speak about things, and he sat on things. And I decided a long time ago I didn't want to be like that, so I have to talk about these things. And sometimes you can do it face to face, talking to somebody. Sometimes you want to write it down in a journal. Sometimes you will write a song, and I think that's as a creative person, that's how I deal with things, And I hope sometimes when I write a song that it makes other people think, oh yeah, I get that, because that's how songs work for me, and I work for you. When you hear a song and it resonates with you, you're thinking, yes, this is getting me through this period, this period of grief or whatever. So yeah, I've lost my train of thought now. Sorry.
Yeah, no, but I agree completely, and that's what I think about with stuff like that, where, especially where it can feel a bit difficult writing something of these kind of experiences. Then I think about how much other people's songs have helped me through those experiences myself. So sharing them like that is hopefully it's a benefit to someone else who hears it. And like I say, people don't read into it the same amount that writing it. Like lots of thing with a great song is it can mean so many different things, so many different people, and it might be one line from it resonates with somebody and a different line resonates with someone else. Some people pay attention to the whole thing. One of the ones that came to mind for me when we think about that is Eric Clapton's Tears in Heaven. So that was written about his child that died, wasn't it? And I remember thinking, I don't know how he plays that song without but I mean, it must have been a therapeutic thing for him to get through to writing it. And I mean, and Nick Cave's talked about it as well with the performing after his son's death, and saying how therapeutic he's found it to continue writing the songs and to be connecting with his audience and that kind of stuff. And the last thing I was just going to say from what you said there, then we'll move on to the next section, is acknowledge. It's a very common thing with the Swan songs that I've been writing with people, is people are writing a song which is about a relationship, but they want to acknowledge that it's not always been perfect. So a lot of times it's kind of a temptation to like the stereotypical love song where everything's just shiny and rainbows. Whereas what seems to happen, a lot of people say like, and it's always a difficult balance, because like I don't want to sound like I'm slagging someone off, but also I don't want to pretend like we didn't have issues or we didn't have hard times. And so I think it's the way to do it.
That's exactly the way I feel about this song. You don't want to be critical. I don't want everybody to know the dirty laundry. You know what I mean? I don't the things that went on between me and my dad, really. And but also I think it's important that people do realise that relationships are not always so straightforward with anybody. And in knowing that, I think that will help you to deal with relationships, to iron out those creases, that we have. And unfortunately, with my dad, I didn't feel like I got that chance. And I think that's another thing as well. I didn't get that chance to iron out some of those things. And I think that is really what I wanted to say in the song. It's a shame that we didn't get the chance. And going forward, make sure you get that chance with people. Take that chance with people while you've got them with you. That's the important thing. Don't leave it till it's too late.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks for that, Scott. We'll move into section 2, shall we? So this is where I ask songwriters to give a tip that might be useful to people just getting started in songwriting. So Scott, what's your tip for us today?
For me, first idea, best idea is my rule. When I don't spend hours and hours changing lines around in songs. For me, I think your initial thing, as soon as you're happy with the
if you're writing, obviously you've got to think about meter, you've got to think about rhyme and rhythm. Once those things are locked in and the lines are coming nice and easy, go with that. That's the initial thing. For me as a performer, I shall tweak those things as I perform the songs. Often songs that I've dropped choruses and put other choruses in, and it's happened naturally. And I haven't tried to force that out, because I think sometimes you can try and force a song out, and it's just not happening. The best songs, and I think any songwriter will say this, the best songs just come quite easily, and so I don't spend hours and hours labouring over rewriting verses and that. Once I think like the verse, once it just clicks, it's got to click. I mean, it's got to click and look right. I like the way it looks on the page. I like the way it feels. Also, for me, I work very much in sounds as well as not just in words. I like how things sound together, with the chord structures and the words in that. All the songs I like are not just about the words or the music. It's about it all works together. So as long as when I feel rhythmically things are working as well, that's it. But first idea, best idea for me. I've often tried to change stuff and then thought, no, it was better the way I did it. So now I just first idea as it comes, as it flows out, that's what I go with, and let it grow organically over time. If I'm performing a song a lot, it'll change anyway. It'll change in loads of ways. I forget verses. So, I'm not sure, so sometimes, I mean, there's some songs I've played 100 times, and I've looked back at the lyrics I've got written down for them, and I think, so where did this other verse come from? Because what will happen is that I'll have forgotten the verse, so I'll have just improvised on stage, and then from then on, that's just become the verse. And so I just see that as the song sort of almost taking me. It sounds a bit, I don't know, kooky. But I just see that. Sorry?
Because it's almost like you kind of give birth to it, and then it kind of grows itself, and it grows up.
Yeah, that's it. It's got to grow. It's got to grow with you, I suppose, as well. But I think initially, I always say, first idea, best idea. Don't try to force things. If you've got a line to start a song that you love, like with this one, the title, John, that was the title. It was never going to be changed. That's the title, and from there, it flows from there. So that's if you've got a line, flow from there. If you've got a chorus or a chord progression, flow from there. If you hit on something you're happy with, take it from there. That first idea is your best idea.
Great stuff. Yeah, it's a good one, Scott. Thanks for that. And I guess having faith in that. We talked about this earlier about when things just come out. Sometimes they don't seem like they're maybe as articulate or as meaningful as you're aiming for, but then there is actually something in it. Like sometimes you find that, don't you? You sing something or a lyric will just come out, you're like, what does that mean? And then then maybe when you finish the song, you're in the context, you're like, oh, that's really powerful, or rather than overthinking it too much.
Yeah, absolutely. I think sometimes you've just got sometimes let it speak to you. Some of the best songs that other people have told me are my best songs are the ones I've spent hardly any time on.
Yeah.
And you think to yourself, and it's just the people, whenever people say, oh, I love that song, and I think back to writing it, and sometimes I think to myself, did I even write it? It just seemed to be there.
Yeah.
And I think most songwriters will say, there has to be an amount of ego in doing this in the first place. You're doing it because you want to do it. You've got to have some kind of ego. But honestly, I do think so. I look at stuff sometimes and think to myself, well, how did that happen? I don't remember really sweating over that. And certainly if I listen back to albums, I sometimes think, what was that about? And I think once you relax into it like that as well, I think that's important, because sometimes people trying to force. I've known people say we're going to have a songwriting session, and they spent 10 hours sat there and they've written nothing.
Yeah.
Whereas you can be driving down the street and suddenly find this urge to pull over and write a full song, and you're you're trying to get on your humming melody into your phone, you know what I mean? And it's that's how songwriting's always worked for me. I've never been to sit down and force it.
Great stuff. Cool. Yeah, thanks for that, Scott.
Okay.
let's move into section 3. So section 3, I ask my guests to choose a song that means something to them relating to end of life and bereavement. What we do here, since we can't play the songs in the show, I'll put the link in the description. So Scott will tell us what the song is in a moment. And then if you'd like to pause this video, you can follow that link, listen to the song, and come back and we're going to have a little bit of a chat about it. So Scott, what song did you choose for us?
You Still Believe in Me by the Beach Boys.
So yeah, if you're watching at home, you want to pause this, check out the link in the description, have a listen to the song if you're not familiar with it. And we're going to carry on chatting about it here. So yeah, tell us why you chose that song, Scott.
Well, I had a good long think about this, and I asked Susan, my wife. I said to her, "What song should?" Because I love millions of songs, you know. And I said, what song should I choose? And she said, "Well, what about a song you would like played at your funeral?" I thought, well, that's a bit dark. but then thinking about it, I think everybody thinks like that. I think I love this song played because this says something about me. And the particular song is from my favourite album by anybody ever. It's on Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys. And I suppose because I've discovered that album in my teenage years, I don't know, it's at a formative time. It spoke to me then and it stayed with me. But this particular song, it's not got a lot of words to it. It's impressive mainly how everything works together. The few words that they have chosen to use, obviously beautifully sung. It's the Beach Boys, beautiful harmonies. The production by Brian Wilson of the song is beautiful. And all those things resonate with me. One thing, but I think the message of the song, I think You Still Believe in Me, it's almost like, without getting into a faith sort of thing, it's almost about something beyond yourself, still having faith in you. You know, we talk about having faith in God, but how about God or the universe or whatever you want to title it, having faith in you to be what you need to be. And at particularly low times in my life, that song's basically said, I don't know, you still believe in me, you, whoever that you is, somebody still believes in me, so keep going, you know. And that's what that song. So I suppose in a funeral setting, I'd want to say to people, you know what I mean, I might not be here, you know, I've gone, you know, but I still believe in you to be everything that you can be, you know, everything that I've imparted from my life into your life, you know, you know, to my friends, my family, my loved ones, you know what I mean, to my children, you know, the things that I've imparted into them is that I believe in you, you know what I mean, and that's because I think every one of us at some point in his life needs something or somebody to pull us along and say, you know, come on, you can do this. And that particular song, you know, both in a faith sense, that said something beyond me still believes and still willing me to go on and carry on through some of the darkest times in my life and through some of the most joyous times too. You know, it's pulled me on, but also, you know, that people still believe in me, and I still believe in you. You know, I still believe that you are a good person. I still believe in that you, and I want to encourage other people. So I suppose it's like a song of, I don't know, encouragement rather than, I don't look at it as the best song written ever. Who knows what that is? But cause like as people listen to it, they'll find, well, there's not a lot of words in it, and there's a lot of but this is like this choral piece at the end with just the voices. And it's like, it's almost like they're reaching out into, like, I don't know, the beyond, you know, and it's like, wow, you know, and it's the most religious experience I think I've ever had, you know, and listening to it. And it's, you know, I'm not sure, I hate using the word religion because it puts about 1 million people off wanting to listen to anything else you've got to say. But it's a spiritual experience more so, I suppose. But that's why I chose that song. You know, if any of that made any sense, I don't know.
Yeah, that was beautiful, Scott. Yeah. I don't think I've got much that I can add to that. Really, that was, what did occur to me then was that, well, I like your method of thinking about how to get to it and your reasons for choosing it, which also felt quite selfless in a way. That thinking about your own funeral, you want to be then passing on this encouragement. Which again, I mean, it's a common thing with the Swan Song stuff. Is people are thinking about how other people will be dealing with their grief in the situation and wanting something to boost them and give them that encouragement that they need. But that, I think that is a really nice one, that people, that you believe in people and people can hopefully take that away and yeah, I think it's that was really beautiful, beautiful speech.
Yeah, it's funny you should say that, because that's the conversation I had with Susan about it. Obviously saying what this is for, and I think that we all want to be at the end of us life. We all want everybody to know. Well, I want people to know all the way through my life that I love them and care for them, But I think at that time, having experienced going back to my dad's funeral, those questions of like everything that they've imparted into you will be the thing that drags you forward. What we put into each other, what we impart, the good things, the challenging things, even the failings are the things that drag each other forward, and on with our own lives. And I think that's what that song's always said to me, and that's what I want from my songs, I suppose, is to speak into people's lives and tell and people matter. To tell people that people matter, because sometimes we all go through life like, do I matter? And I'm not in an ego way, like, what is my relevance to their existence, And I think we all need things that tell us, that we do matter. Everybody matters in some way, to somebody, to something.
Yeah, that's beautiful, Scott. I think that's a great way to end the interview. So thank you very much for joining us. That's been a real pleasure.
Yeah.
And I hope you've enjoyed watching this at home. There'll be plenty more of these coming. So thanks a lot, Scott. I'll hopefully see you again soon if we can leave the house anytime in the near future.
Yeah. Stay safe, everyone.